with the cash transactions. Okay. Now we are going to focus on credit transactions. How many cash books or how many books do you have under cash transaction? 3. So now let's start with our credit transactions, and again we're going to learn them one by one. Yes. Not in. No, there I put them in detail. Can you see these things? I gave you can you see all these things? All these things. Do you have one?
No,
yeah.
I don't. No,
Don't worry. For credit, don't worry. I'm gonna give you the credit one. This is for cash.
Oh, this is cash.
Yeah. So remember, for now I'm just explaining the theory around it. I'm gonna give you the credit one. Okay. So for now, let's focus on the book. Remember, the ones that I gave you is for you at home, maybe if you are lost. Just to see, can you say I give you examples? But I think they can only make sense after we put them on the board. So again, I think I did upload this on VC then. But I'm gonna give you copies for this one, for the credit one. Yes. Honestly speaking, I thought they were part of this. Thanks for highlighting that. But okay, for now, let's just look at this and then discuss. When we are dealing with credit, we can either buy or sell. Let's start with buying part of it. When we buy items on credit, where do you think we need to record them? Which book? Try. C, which is?
So you said when we buy on credit.
Yeah. C.
Key.
Not abbreviation, in full.
Cash.
No, these are not cash.
Oh, credit.
Credit?
Creditors journal.
Okay, thank you. Creditors? Creditors journal. Who brought the book here, the textbook? Can I see your textbook for 3 minutes, mobile? I'm just saying for you to refer at home, you will see them at one page. Yeah, on page 144, you can find that. 141, eh? I'm just saying for you to, at home, you can go and look at them. How do they look like, eh? Don't worry about recording, I'm going to show you how to record, okay? Now, here we record items bought on credit. Remember, under account equation, we used to buy on credit. Okay, what can we buy on credit, for example? Trading stock, equipment, because not everyone has cash at their disposal. Very few people are swimming in those cash. But majority are swimming in those debts. It's a reality. So sometimes we buy on credit. So when you buy on credit, remember when I go to it, I said items. Just say all items. All items. That's how our system is going to work. All the items. Okay? Now, just to ask you some questions here. Please source document that you think we can.
Invoice?
Which invoice? Which invoice?
Look at invoice.
Let's call it.
Oh, credit invoice.
Yes. And because here, we can call it credit invoice, but I prefer if you can call it what?
Purchase.
Yeah, even if credit invoice, can you see that when we say credit invoice, even when we say it's going to be credit invoice, people can be confused. But even if you say credit invoice, it's okay. But the fact that you're going to tell me whether it's duplicate or original, we'll know whether it's under what? Creditors journal or not. Please give me the abbreviation there. CJ. Not CJB. CJ. Okay? Now, is it duplicate or original. Think about it. Please don't guess. Just think about it. It must make sense. Duplicate.
Yes.
Okay, let me give you something. The rule says the one who gives source document retains original. The one who buys receives.
Copy.
What did I say? Let me repeat myself. We've got the issuer and the receiver. Ne? The rule says if you issue what? Original. You retain what? Duplicate. You issue original. You are left with. I think it makes sense. The question is, are we the ones who are buying here or are we the ones who are selling here? Who are buying. So we receive what? Original. Okay, let's.
No, didn't you say the one who sells stays with the original and the one who buys?
No, I'm saying, let's talk about this. Ne? The one who sells will give original to the one who bought. So we are buying in this case.
Oh, so we get the original.
Because, and the one who sold to us,
They keep the duplicate.
but we don't care about them, we care about us. Does that make sense? So, but don't stress much about the duplicate or original unless if they ask, because they can ask you using source documents. That's why I'm saying you need to know both. Can I repeat what I said?
Yes.
Let me do this. This is, we've got the supply of goods. Ne? I'm just giving an example. Ne? We've got the receiver of goods. Meaning this person sells to what? So there must be a source document. Can you see that? So if the supplier sells to the receiver then, so it means at the end of the day, he or she must be given the source document. He will receive what? Can you see that? And who must give that original? So if I give original, what must I left with in the business? You can use this to decide. So mostly the buyers, just like the buyers receive original. The buyers receive what?
Original.
So I think you can use that logic. The buyers receive original. Here we are the ones who are buying. That's how we said what? Don't be confused, guys. I know it can be a confusion, but let's just use them. Let me ask you a question. How do you know what is the next question? What is the next question that I'm going to ask you?
We don't know it.
Come on, check the pattern that I've been using.
Another example of source document.
No. Yes, but no, there's no other example there. Only another other ones there. But what is VAT? Which VAT is that? Output. Guys, remember, sometimes when I look at you like this, don't change the answer. I'm just checking. Give it to me. Output. Do we all agree? Are we buying or are we selling here? So why are you giving me output? The buyer pays what? The customers are charged what? Don't forget. I don't want to get used to it. You know that song that says, take time to know her. You know that? You can't know it because I think you. For me, like, I remember when I was doing my matric in 1973, that track was there. Yes. Okay, guys, that is a topic for another day. Can you classify this for me? It's an asset. Please don't feel bored. Which asset? Current. I want you to get used to it.
Input VAT is the VAT that we pay, right?
The buyer
And then
always
we can
pays.
claim it back.
That's true.
Okay.
So in the output.
The output is the one you owe to SARS.
Yeah. Why? Because it is
Because
paid
they
by
tell that we have.
from there.
Yeah.
Perfect. You got it. Just like that. So output can only be paid by your customers. Here we are buying, guys. So we don't buy from customers. Eh? When we buy, they charge us input, and it's claimable. But when we sell, we charge customers what? It's payable to? That money doesn't belong to the business. It's going to go to? That's why we say a business has got money that does not belong to it. It belongs to? That's why we say it's a liability, because we owe SARS. Does that make sense?
Yes.
No problem. Guys, you know sometimes when you buy items, sometimes they don't meet your expectations. So this thing doesn't look so vestige. What do? You return it. It's true. Remember I gave you an example about buying some clothes, going to a party on Friday. Make sure that you party where there's no dust.
Yes.
Huh?
And you don't take off the clip.
Yeah, and on we can put some things. So on Sunday, it doesn't fit me. As long as they cannot prove. I'm not saying you must do it. As a consumer, you've got the right to return. So even us here, we can return. What is that, Jenna? What is that, Jenna? I bought, I want to return to them. Creditors?
Control.
Allowances. Guys, next to the allowances, just write returns. Okay? Return. This is the return of items bought on. I'm talking about this one. You buy here, you can return back. What is the abbreviation there? CAJ. Thank you, guys. Not bad. Guys, help me. Source document. Credit note. Thank you. Is it original or duplicate?
Original.
Remember, we are the ones who are going to be given credit note because we returned. So the one who receives source documents receives what? Original. Are we together, guys? Guys, you know my next question. I just had it put. Which way? Okay, can I ask you a question? I'll come back to you. When you buy, they charge you what?
Input.
You can go and claim it. From? When you return, can you still claim it? So we must call it what now? Output. What wanted to say? Output.
I was going to ask which one of the two it is.
Okay. You said output. Guys, understand this one. It's just a reversal of input.
So why is it output now? Because you can't claim it.
Okay. This one is a special case. Can I explain to you now? So when we bought before, let's say for example, when we bought before, they charge us what? Input. And this is claimable from SARS. We are waiting to claim it. But we returned some of the goods back to them, meaning the VAT on that cannot be claimed anymore. Why do we call it output now? It's because before we pay SARS, or before SARS pays us, we need to check the difference between the two and say who owes who between SARS and us. So for me to say output, I'm trying to reduce what? Because the more output I have, the less output I'm gonna have. So this is just a reversal of the input so that I cannot claim it. Because before we go to SARS, we say this minus that. And the difference is either paid to SARS or claim from SARS. Can you see that? So that is the only thing. That is the reversal. Because I cannot call it input again. It means I'm going to claim more. The rule says, when you increase the inputs, you decrease the outputs. When you increase the outputs, so guys, remember that. And I don't want you to learn it like this and say, oh, because there it was input, here is output. No. What if in future you decide to be a teacher? Yeah, are you going to tell your students that because there is input and output here?
But I tell them, learn it as is.
Okay. Yes, it's a home study.
So would you say returning would be the same as still selling the stock? Because when we sell, we receive output, right?
Only for exam technique, but reality doesn't say. We're not selling, by the way.
Yeah.
We're just reversing. We're trying not to, because if we cannot have this entry, it means we'll end up going to SARS and claim the input that we don't qualify. Remember, SARS says you can only claim the input because you paid for it. But now you return some of the goods. You don't qualify to claim that anymore because now we are not charged in a way because they reversed it. So because you have to reverse that purchase here, you must also reverse what? The claim of what? Of VAT. That's the only reason there. That's where the problem comes. Because I said output is associated with what the selling part of it. Here we're not selling. It's a good question why you said, why are we saying output? Because we're not selling. It's because I'm trying to reverse the input. Some books, some syllabuses, they still allow you to say input. But when you go to the general ledger account, you must make sure that you reduce the input account. But here we reduce it automatically. By increasing output, I'm decreasing the input. It balances at the end. Okay, maybe if I can introduce this one, things will be better. Okay, by the way, okay, don't feel bored. I know. What is this? Which one? Some things are just boring currently. Here we were buying, eh?
So, but I don't see you taking it back, so you're gonna get money back from it. So,
Which one?
That one.
I'm not getting money back. I'm trying to reduce the input.
But you're reducing credit, which means you're increasing owner's equity.
No, I'm
So
increasing
why
what?
is it liability? How are you increasing liability if you're taking an item back?
No, there are two separate things. We're not talking about the item, we're talking about the VAT part only.
Oh.
Yes, when I go to the item itself, you will see it's going to decrease on the credit side as an asset. Let's say I bought stock. The stock will
Decrease.
It's a separate entry. Now, when it comes to VAT, we need to check whether we can still go and claim that VAT. The answer is no. But how can I cancel that VAT so that I cannot claim it back? I call it output. Because when I go and pay SARS, I compare the output and the input. By increasing output, it's like I'm reversing the input.
So output is always like...
Always. Input is always what? Assets. Can I continue?
Yes.
Can you share with us? I don't know whether you're celebrating or not, but it's okay. That is a commercial break. Now, we're buying it on credit, but we can sell on? Give me the book for selling on credit. Debtors. Can you see now? I want you to master this. Because we are selling, we sell to? Write it down. I can see people confuse the two. Because they all have TAS. TAS. Eh? This means I sold to them on credit. This means I bought from them. So we buy from creditors. We sell to debtors. Give me the abbreviation, please. DJ. Be careful. Not the one who entertains. Huh? Not that one. So, debtors. Be careful here. Only sales of goods on only sales of what? I mean, if you sell your bicycle, you cannot come here. What is the other term for goods? Trading stock, inventory, merchandise, and goods. Okay, so only when you sell them, you must come here. Guys, if you can sell your equipment on credit, forget about this journal. There must be a journal for it.
But why is it when we buy on credit, it's all items?
No, for debtors journal, it's only dedicated for the selling of inventory. But it doesn't mean that if you sell equipment on credit, it's not a debtor. It's just that it doesn't come here, even though it's a debtor.
So it doesn't go.
I'm confused.
Okay. Remember here they are trying to group transactions according to the nature. Remember, stock is the important thing in the business. Why is it important?
It's the main purpose of it.
Yes, when you sell stock, you make what? Profit. So they've got a book specifically for selling what? Stock. But doesn't mean that you can only sell inventory on credit. Sometimes you can decide to sell this table on. There must be a book for only those other things. Of which I'm still coming. What is it in advance? General? General. Can you see now? But I'm still coming to the general, but you made me talk about it in advance.
General journal.
GJ. General Jim. In America. Brother. Yes. But yes. Please. I still have time. It's like I'm very... No, I must be slow, by the way, because of this foundation, okay? Guys, don't waste our time. Give me the source document. Credit invoice, or you can say credit what? Even credit invoice only is okay. Is it a duplicate? Because obviously you are the one who's issuing, you are going to remain with what? It's the opposite of that one there. That one is the original.